yeah, I was born Janice Maher, however you want to say it. My father was Tommy Maher, who was a professional singer. His father was Joseph Maher, and his father. Now here's a little story. He went through life as Joseph Maher, but I believe he was Michael Maher, because on the 1841 census in Manchester, oh, beg your pardon, the 1851 census, I find him as Michael Maher. Now, Joseph always said on the censuses that he was born in Salford. I cannot find a baptism, and from an Irish Catholic family, I think there would have been one. But I do find one born to Macnamara, Margaret Macnamara, and Michael Maher, which are the correct parents, Michael Maher. And I think he changed his name as time went on to Joseph, because his best friend was Joseph, who lived in the same street, in Naples Street, in Angel Meadow, the slum part of the earth, you know, where a lot of Irish went in the mid 1800s. And he was called Joseph McCormick. And I know that Joseph Maher, or Michael Maher, was the best friend of Joseph McCormick, because they were best men at each other's weddings. And my Joseph, Michael, was the godfather to two of Joseph McCormick's children. So there are a lot of reasons, there are more, where I believe that my great-great-grandfather was in fact Michael Maher and not Joseph. Michael Maher and Margaret Macnamara, my great-great-great-grandfather and Joseph's father, were married in Dublin in 1830. And on the day they got married in the same church was a John Maher, who was baptized, who had been born in 1829, their son. So obviously they got married after their son was born. I have found through an Irish website that, in fact, those two people had 5 children in Dublin, but only 2 came to England with them. I don't know the actual date they came, because, of course, there aren't any records, sailing records. They didn't need a passport in those days, etc. But I have found the burial places of 2 of them. So Michael and Margaret Macnamara came over here. I can't find them in the 1841 census, but that's not a surprise, because a lot were missing anyway, but certainly on the 1851. And I find the death of Michael Maher, my great-great-great-grandfather, dying in the workhouse in Deansgate near Angel Meadow in Manchester. He died in 1846, which would be a couple of years after Michael, Joseph, was born. So this Michael, sorry, my great-great-grandfather, I'm getting a bit mixed up now here, probably getting you mixed up anyway. Michael, who became Joseph, was baptized in 1843, which is the right year for my Joseph. So there are many, many other things I've got here, which circumstantial evidence very, very strongly suggests that I've got the right family. Because when this Michael Joseph got married in 1868, he was living in Salford at 8 Divine Street with Margaret, father on the marriage certificate, Father Michael deceased. And on the banns of that marriage, I have got son of Margaret Nee Macnamara and Michael Maher. Now, I can't ever know where Michael, the first Michael, my great-great-great-grandfather, came from, because on their marriage certificate, the parents weren't down in the Roman Catholic. They weren't registered. They weren't on the register. Very recently, I heard that my father, who died 21 years ago, had actually gone with his brother Joseph. My dad was Tommy Maher, the professional singer, and Joseph Maher, my cousin, his daughter, is still living, and we correspond every day. And they went to visit a cousin in Oldham called Ada. And Ada was the daughter of my grandfather's sister. So my grandfather had a sister, Ada. She had a daughter, Ada. My father, Thomas, had me. And very recently, I have found her daughter. another Ada, still living in Oldham, and we're gonna meet up fairly soon. She didn't even know she had Irish ancestry, so I said to her, so you can celebrate St. Patrick's Day now legitimately. She didn't know anything about her Irish ancestry, so she's over the moon. They were living in 1851 at number 8 Nicholas Street in Angel Meadow, which is actually mentioned in oh gosh, what was the book now? Elizabeth Gaskell's, hello, it won't come to me right now. Oh gosh, anyway, it's in the book. It's mentioned on two places, Nicholas Street. It's still there, but it's called Naples Street now, and of course it's all been redeveloped around there. My father, at the age of 19, I've got all the press cuttings as well, adverts in the paper. He joined, he went for an interview at the age of 19, bearing in mind, you know, he lived in Moss Side. They weren't a rich family. There were 13 children originally. 5 died before he was even born. Agnes died in 1907, born in 1903. And I know where she's buried, and 3 of the sisters are buried. I can't find the other one at the moment. Anyway, the eldest surviving sister of my father, Margaret, Auntie Peggy, saw an advert in the paper advertising for anybody to join the Royal Kilties Junior Band. My father went for the interview on a Wednesday. He got the job, and by Saturday he was touring Europe with the band, and I've got reviews and all sorts of stuff. Obviously, when war broke out, they had to disband. There's my father, never been abroad in his life before. I think he'd only ever been to Blackpool, and that was a treat, one day a year. And unfortunately, you know, his singing ceased from then on, but I've got him singing. I've got an advert singing at the Russell Palais in Hume, in Russell Street. He used to sing at the local dance hall, and he made records. I've got a record of his. And actually, an interesting story was, I've got a postcard of him singing in Latvia, in 1939. And I wrote to Riga to ask if they had anything about my father, and lo and behold, they did. And it was published in a book called Architecture and Cultural Heritage of Riga, or Latvia. And the museum got back to me, and they said they hadn't got any copies left of this book. They had the one and only copy that they knew. Anyway, lo and behold, I'm going to fill up now. My daughter, for my 70th birthday, got a private detective on the story, and they found probably the only last copy in the world with my father and the story of where he was singing in Latvia. He was a countertenor, and he so quite a high voice. I've still got one of his records, which I had digitalized actually. His song that he was known for was Penny Serenade. It starts, once I strayed 'neath the window of a lovely senorita, and she smiled while I softly played my penny serenade. That was my dad's signature song. So that was unfortunately, war broke out. He had to get home. His passport's amazing because he had to go through several different countries with no money. And so he was given grants by the British embassies in all these different places, and finally got back to England when he went straight into the Navy. And that was the end of his singing career, unfortunately. But he had a lovely voice.